What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Jacob and Me Podcast Show.
That was quite the intro.
Yes, it was, sir. Alrighty then. I am the host, Richard Review, joined by the man across from me, the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard. Welcome to the Jacob and Me Podcast Show. If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is a podcast where me and my best friend Jacob here talk about anything and everything that we like to talk about. And we started to record it, obviously.
All of it.
About comics, movies, video games, anything entertainment, and also stuff that we like to jerk off to. Also, we throw a little bit of sports in there with the undrafted section, which we're going to get into today finally. We got an undrafted segment. And then lastly, we get into some boring stuff with the Pennsylvania Avenue, taking a drive down there to some history of the week. And then actually it's going to be kind of a weird blend of like the usual stuff we do in the beginning at the end with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, let's get into it, Jacob.
Let's
How you doing?
it. I'm doing good.
Doing good? Doing good?
Had a dentist appointment this morning. Not fun,
Not fun. Definitely it's not.
but it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm not really that afraid of going to the dentist.
Que sera,
But
sera.
yeah. Let's get into it, young man.
Young man.
What is the first segment that we are going to be going through?
We're going to cover some new releases for this week.
Ooh, you didn't get synopsis for movies, did you?
Nope, I didn't. I'm too lazy. I actually honestly totally forgot. I meant to, but... Well, one of them I can basically give you a synopsis. Maybe two. Actually, one of them you should just kind of know what the synopsis is. One of them, I'll give you another movie and you'll basically know what the synopsis is.
Yeah, but I don't want you to read it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, okay? Totally lost my... Oh, I don't even need my phone. What am I doing? It's all written down right here, right in front of me. This is why I write stuff down.
That's why
All
you
right.
write it down.
New releases for...
Boom.
Now I remember what I was doing because I wanted to know what the week was. So these things releasing from Wednesday, October 25th to Wednesday, October 31st.
All right, here you go, guys.
But I think everything but one on this list is releasing on Friday, October 26th. So let's start in Movie Land.
Movie Land, the big
c-
screen,
The cinema.
the cinema where you eat the popcorn now.
Friday, October 16th. Johnny English strikes again.
Johnny English.
Yeah, it's like the PG version of like Borat.
I have no idea who.
Dust. Okay, well it's Rowan Atkinson.
Who?
Okay. I'm gonna Google this for you so that you have like some idea of what's going on here.
He's
Rowan
Googling it, guys.
Atkinson. This dude. Mr. Bean, right?
Oh, just say Mr. Bean, bro.
Sorry.
I don't know his real name. I just know that's Mr. Bean.
Yeah, so he has a sequel coming out to the original Johnny English movie. It's like almost like Jacques Clouseau, like Pink Panther, like level detective, like spoof kind of
Okay.
thing.
I got you.
Anyway. So yeah, that is October 26th. Also releasing October 26th is a movie called Hunter Killer. Now, as you said, I did not look up the synopsis for this movie, but this is basically like the poor man's The Hunt for Red October.
Oh.
So
If you don't say.
there you go. That's the synopsis.
Hunter Killer, where John Stamos kills your dad.
Wow. That doesn't sound like The Hunt for Red October at all.
Yeah, but it's John Stamos instead
Okay.
of Alec Baldwin.
Okay, sure. Fair enough. So Hunter Killer releases this Friday. It is Gerard Butler and Academy Award winner. Correct? Yes, I think so. Academy Award winner Gary Oldman. Because he won
This
for
is true.
his Churchill role.
Yes, this is true.
In television land, in the small screen, I only have
Small
one
screen.
thing. There was a good list of things that came out. I had honestly not heard of most of them before. So there was only one of significance, and that is the Castlevania series on Netflix, which releases this Friday.
Netflix,
So yet another... I don't think I have heard any sort of early reviews or anything like that of this so far.
Is it live action?
I believe so, but I honestly don't know.
That's going to be terrible. Sorry. Anyways, talk to myself.
So that releases this Friday. If you're a big fan of the Castlevania series, I guess check this out.
Yeah.
Or don't check this out if you're afraid it's going to be terrible. Could go either way.
I mean, if it's a good way to get into like the Castlevania like realm or lore, then
I think
maybe,
this
yeah.
might be, honestly, this might be a decent measure of the Witcher series,
Okay.
depending on like how good or bad, like how they approach this. Obviously, like The Witcher and Castlevania are not the same universe, but like they're kind of in the same vein, I feel like.
I see. The only way I'm imagining this is if it's like General Hospital, but with like vampires and like
Yikes.
fighting. That's what I look at. Like when I look at it.
Okay,
That's
well,
what it is.
that could be that, I guess. Finally, in the worldwide world of video games, there are, well,
There's like a small
one
game coming
major
out.
release.
There's like one small game coming out this week. You know what I mean?
one major release.
Like I don't know if you've heard of it before. Like it, you might have just like found a trailer like this week, or or just saw a cool picture of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of this franchise before. I had to
Yeah.
research this topic
Yeah.
extensively to try to figure out what actually this was.
Mhm.
But Friday, October 26th happens to be the release of Red Dead Redemption 2. Some
Yeah,
little
I think
game
like a small studio. I think they're
like
called Rocksteady. No,
something like that.
Rockstar.
Yeah, something.
Rockstar
I don't know what it is.
is making this.
Yeah. So they decided they're gonna make some sort of like Western bang 'em up.
Whoa! What number is this?
2?
They made a first one.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they did.
Wow. Did they have an expansion to that one that was just as popular?
I believe so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But like I said, I had to look all this up. This is what Wikipedia told me before we started
Damn.
recording.
Wikipedia these days.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Spin that hot fire.
Yeah, so Red Dead Redemption 2 this week. If you like your westerns.
Pow pow pow. Pew pew pew. Pew pew pew. Honestly, if there's no DeLorean in this goddamn game, I'm gonna be pissed.
DeLorean?
Yeah.
What?
Back to the Future, bitch. Let's go.
Thank you. That's
Thank
the only
you.
thing that car's famous for.
Exactly, bro. I want to
Why
fly.
would there be a DeLorean?
Cause me and Marty need to go fucking save the world. Sorry, I cursed.
Okay.
There should be a mission where Marty McFly or someone in a DeLorean comes back and you have to help him get back. That would be sick. I just created that in
like
my
the
head.
Flash?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Where he's like stuck in time and you have to help him get back. Like you have to get supplies and then he gets like captured or something like that and you have to save him and then you like are in a chase and then you have to get him to the car.
Then you have to wait for a thunderstorm so the car can get struck by lightning.
No,
as
it
it's
wasn't
going
a thunderstorm
60.
in the Western. It was just the train.
No, but the car, you have to hit it with like a whole huge jolt of electricity when it hits 66 miles an hour or whatever. Remember? Yeah.
I think they got that through. It wasn't through a lightning in that
Yeah, it
train
was.
one.
Remember, Doc like held he like attached it to like the building.
That was
the lightning rod.
I'm
on the
talking about
building.
the second one, not the first one.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
Did you not watch?
I'm
the
sorry
second
that
one?
I picked the wrong Back to the Future.
No, it
movie.
was the third one. My bad. Sorry, third one. I actually really enjoyed how the second one ended because it was like, hey guys, we already made the third one, but you're gonna have to wait. Because they already basically shot it, and like you saw like a trailer at the end of I don't think anyone ever does that at all, where they
Yeah, I
show
don't
you a
think so.
trailer to the sequel already. They're like, oh, hey guys, we're making another one. They're just like, hey guys, what's up?
This is true. Also in video game land, will probably be a little bit drowned out. They picked a bad weekend for their beta, gotta say. The Fallout 76 beta. If you have an Xbox and you have the game, so you can only get in the beta if you have it pre-ordered. But if you pre-order on Xbox, you can have the beta now, as of
Now.
recording October 23rd.
right now,
You can download it right now. If you're playing on PS4 or PC, you have to wait until, I believe, Sunday the 28th.
that sucks.
And they've also announced that it's not going to be a continuous beta, meaning that there's only going to be like a few hour like windows each day where it's going to be available to play. It's not just like open it up whenever sort of thing, like early access. So you're going to have to sort of pay attention to Bethesda's.
Make sure you uninstall
Twitter or
Assassin's Creed
something.
Odyssey by then, so you have enough space for all these goddamn
That's true.
games.
On Xbox, Red Dead Redemption 2 is 88 gigabytes.
Yeah, I downloaded that.
And on PlayStation, supposedly is 104 gigabytes, which
Nani.
is just like, wow. That's literally
Nani.
like 20% of the internal hard drive in the system. So yeah, so that is our new releases for this week.
That is it for new releases. If we miss anything, let us know in the comments down below so I can laugh at them. Yeah, I think it's. I'm already, not fatigued, or I don't know the word. Maybe frustrated too. You can describe it on how I haven't finished Assassin's Creed.
I know.
And this is coming out. I want to play Black Ops 2. I want to throw that in there, but there's like no time for any of this crap, dude.
I understand the conundrum. For as far as Assassin's Creed is concerned, I was pushing really hard to finish that game before Red Dead came out, and then like I hit a certain point in the story. Well, you're probably ahead of where I am. So slight spoilers possibly. So like I got to the point where it shows you like the whole cultist tree. Have you got that far?
Yeah, I've gotten to that part.
Okay,
Yeah.
It was like when I got to that point, I was like, not gonna finish this before Red Dead comes out.
Yeah, because I've gotten one of those on that.
You've killed one dude off that list?
Yeah.
Dust. Okay, then I'm ahead of you again. But there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's like, those aren't even main story things. Like, you still have to do the main quests. Those are just like, that's something else to do while you're doing the main quests.
Yeah.
So I definitely, like, I'm kind of at peace with the fact that I'm not going to finish Assassin's Creed.
I'm probably going to jump into Red Dead this weekend just so we can talk about it next week.
Yeah,
But then I'm going to put it down and then finish Assassin's Creed.
Put the cookie down.
Yeah. And I'm fine with you guys spoiling it for me, but I know Anthony's the only person that's probably going to do that. You have enough respect for me.
I need to try to keep up with Anthony in this game just because I want to be able to talk to him about it, and I want to like not be afraid of someone spoiling anything.
Well, that's his style though. So I'm not going to beat this game week 1 easily, or I don't think I would.
No, that's probably like 100
or
hours.
even yeah, like I said, I'm going to put it down and then play the crap out of Assassin's Creed as much as I can. Basically beat that to where the point where I just basically uninstall it and then get ready for Fallout to be installed and then beat the crap out of Red Dead Redemption for because I only have like 5 games. I need to get an external hard drive, or I mean basically I need to get a new Xbox. But yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, honestly. This is like just a lot.
Yep.
A lot of poop.
A lot of video games coming out this time of year, every year. It's that 'tis the season.
Mm-hmm. 'Tis the season
To have no time to finish all your video games.
to your mind, your wallet, and your butt.
Sure.
Because you definitely get your ass kicked in all those games.
Assassin's Creed's really irritating me because I'm playing on Nightmare.
Well, you're playing on unreasonable mode.
I know, but
yes.
like I want a challenge, and it's just like
No, you want an ass whooping. That's what you want.
that's what that game's like. Once an hour, that game is just like.
Me and Josh were talking about that, and Josh is like, "Yeah, I don't play on that game mode anymore." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I actually want to beat the game."
It's unreasonably difficult. Like it's so hard. It's like not logical how difficult that game is on Nightmare.
Did I tell you on like that first one where you have to you're fighting with the Spartans against the Athenians, and I was getting frustrated because the dude was just absorbing, and I was like, "I don't care." I turned it to easy mode and I beat him like that.
Yeah.
It took me like I want to say 10. It was probably less than that, but I felt like 20,000. And I was like, no, dude, no. This like I wasted an hour doing this, and like I was doing fine. I'm just getting cheap shotted over here. So like, no, I'm turning it down to easy. I'm gonna beat this, and I want to move on.
I literally spent an hour the last time I played killing like one of the lowest level cultists on the. So it was like
because Megadis.
No. It was
because there's one on Megadis.
Yeah, they're all
fort,
over the place. Oh, maybe it was that one. No, it wasn't. This one, you had to do like an investigation, about like it's right before you meet like Socrates.
Oh, okay.
And like you have to do this.
Socrates.
Whatever. You have to do this investigation where like you free this guy from, his house, and he's like trapped with like snakes around him, and then you have to go kill the snake merchant.
Do
you remember that?
Idiot. No, I
haven't. So like, it turns out the snake merchant I think was one of the cultists.
Oh.
But like he had, even though I like perfectly snuck up on him in Assassin's Creed, my like max damage like stealth attack is only like a third of his health, and so like then I have to sit there and play this stupid game, and he has.
I just threw the throw thing. What do you call it?
Yeah. I don't know.
And I killed her.
Like Leonidas.
She's like one level ahead of me, and I was like, "No, we'll start it like this." So and I did, and I killed her. I was like, "All right, cool."
The snake merchant had a poison blade and poison arrows, and if I got hit by either one of those, I literally I would die. Like I couldn't save myself from it.
Dust.
So it was.
I think there's
very frustrating.
There is one of the traits I think is like a buildup. Like you actually have like a if
like
you
a
get hit,
tolerance.
I think so. Yeah, it's right above the poison attack one. I think that's what it is.
Maybe I need to invest in that.
Yeah, or just read it before you actually.
Maybe I need to go down to like hard difficulty.
Well, maybe you should just play regular, just so you could beat the game.
But I know it's gonna be too easy on regular. Like I'm too good at stealthing that game.
I'm good at stealthing too, but it's just I don't like going the one-on-ones where I'm like playing a goddamn Dark Souls freaking dude, and I'm like, nah, dude.
You're like poke, poke, poke.
Yeah, like I should be able to kill this guy, like no problem. Like I think
you shouldn't be penalized for being on a harder difficulty. Like you still snuck up on someone.
Yeah.
Like make it harder to sneak. Make like how far they can see longer or something.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
I can see that.
But like this is like, oh, you snuck up behind them. Oh, congrats! That's 25% of their health right there. And then you end up in open combat every single time because you literally can't kill the guy.
But you're also playing on a harder difficulty, so I don't really care. I don't have sympathy for you.
So frustrating. Anyway, let's move on to our first topic.
First topic.
A little known show on Netflix.
Really?
Called
There's
Daredevil.
a lot of those actually.
Called Daredevil.
Are you sure you're pronouncing it right?
Oh, it might be Dare Angel. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Dare
Evil.
Yeah. It released on Friday, season 3 of Daredevil. You neglected your responsibility, your civic duty.
Well, we did talk about it on
to watch this series in its completion.
When's the last time I saw you?
Softball on Tuesday.
Maybe. I felt like I told you like I'm not gonna have time to watch it.
Well, you should have made time because we're gonna review it right now.
Well, you're gonna review it. As
we are going to review.
Dude, this series is so good. No, I've watched 1 and 2. I just need to watch it. The only thing on Netflix I watched recently was I literally just finished Manic. Because the only time I watch Netflix is with Nicole.
Is it Manic or Maniac?
Or is it Maniac? I thought it was Manic. Whatever, Maniac, whatever.
Oh, okay.
And I finished that. Really enjoyed that, and that took me like almost 2.5 weeks to finish.
Okay.
So
I finished Daredevil in 3 days.
Well, you
with my parents actually.
Really like
Shout
that
out
show.
to my parents. My parents, we blew through 13 episodes of Daredevil in 3 days.
I heard some criticism on I think the some kind of religion like Christian,
maybe 4 days.
Christian religion going on or something like that in this.
Well, I mean, Matt Murdock is Catholic.
Okay, so yeah, there's something like that going. I saw someone like saying about I don't want something in this. I was like, dude, shut up. Who cares what you want?
I mean, it's not like a ministry.
Yeah, but what you know how people are. They
Yeah,
just complain about
I
something.
understand.
It's just stupid.
Okay,
just tell us what you think.
So I will preface this by saying that I have not watched Black Mirror. I have not watched Ozark. I have not watched Maniac.
I watched Ozark. I haven't finished second season.
So there are a few things on Netflix that I haven't sampled.
Okay.
That being said, this season of Daredevil is number 1, the best season of any of the Marvel things that exist on Netflix.
Better than season 2?
Better than season 2.
Better than season 1?
But season 2 is better than season 1, so yes.
Better than season 0?
Sure. Better on even -4.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. It is the best of the Marvel series. It is, in my opinion, at this moment, the single best season of television that Netflix has produced.
Better than House of Cards?
Better than House of Cards. That's how much I enjoyed this.
Shnikes.
It did an excellent job of bringing Wilson Fisk back into the fold. It did an excellent job of introducing new characters. There were a lot of great twists. There was like situations that like you knew were coming, but it was still crazy when it happened. They had a whole episode dedicated to Karen Page that was really good. It was I think episode 10.
13 episodes?
There are 13 episodes, yeah. It was just it wasn't perfect, but I just enjoyed it so much. I liked almost everything about it. Okay. There's a couple really big twists with regards to like Matt's past. All like there are huge like dynamic changes in his relationship with Foggy and Karen, his relationship to Wilson Fisk, how Wilson Fisk interacts with everyone around him. There's like a bunch of new like FBI characters that they bring in. They bring in a new villain, like classic villain.
Who's the classic villain?
Do you want me to tell you?
No.
Okay. They just like it was a perfect combination of like a man without fear and I don't even know like what other run this would have been.
So how was like the choreography going?
You mean like the fight scenes?
Yeah,
And
were they just as good as they were in the last 2 seasons?
like
Like the season where he broke.
I would say the season 2 choreography was better.
Yeah, because that's that one like literally one shot fight scene where he comes in and he's fighting like literally a whole house of dudes, and how that was all just one take basically.
Oh yeah. That was season 1, wasn't it?
Was it?
Like he's fighting a bunch of Russians in like the dark. That was like before he even had a suit.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it was. That was a really good scene too, and I think there are a lot of really good fight scenes like in season 2.
Yeah, because that scene, I forget what was the movie before that it kind of referenced off, or a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's like similar to," it was like a Japanese fighting movie where like you basically like they fought up floors and stuff, and it had like a similar kind of one take kind of choreography fight scene like that. I forget what it's called.
I don't know if there's like another one you're thinking of, but like there's a Bruce Lee movie called The Game of Death.
No.
Okay.
It's not that. It's more recent than
okay.
that. Maybe it's like Kill House or something like that. I don't know.
So yeah, I just think that this season particularly stood out for me just purely with the character development. Like what they did with Matt and like where they take him emotionally and like the way like his world changes with respect to like Karen and Foggy and like the 2 villains. It was just like it was great. I like can't say enough good things about it. It was just really fun to watch. It was like one of those that I wish it was 26 episodes and not 13.
Oh God, I wish it wasn't 26 episodes.
I wish it just never stopped. It was that good.
Nah, I think it would have probably lost a lot of. There would have been a lot more holes if it was more than 13 episodes. Honestly, it probably would have. If it went to 17, that's when you're like, okay, stop. So this is like why I like the Netflix series a lot more. Maniac was I think only 10 episodes. I've watched like Love. They're like I think the first season's like 8. The new season I think was only 10.
Black Mirror's only. I think the first season of Black Mirror is only like 5.
Yeah, so like those ones are perfect for me. It's not that like I don't have time for this. Just I think it respects my time a little bit more than other shows, especially network shows that Carly watches. Like she's recently watching The Flash and The Flash, my sister, and she's watched like Grey's Anatomy like 5 times in a row, every season. But that's why you definitely can get into the Daredevil series. You could probably just watch Daredevil on its own and not have to watch any of the other crap. Honestly, you'd probably be better off anyways.
I
mean, Jessica Jones season
Daredevil is the pinnacle of all of that,
yeah,
obviously.
But Jessica Jones is like season 1's like pretty gnarly.
Yep, that's true. So. And I guess that sort of feeds into our next topic.
Yes, it does.
Speaking of the other, yeah, there was a meme I saw. It was like funny how only half of the Marvel shows are left or whatever. It was like the Thanos snap. So Luke Cage Iron Fist first, which was the more recent release. So really, I guess like a month or so after Iron Fist season 2 was released, Netflix announced that it was canceled. And then a couple weeks later, Luke Cage it was like announced. A week later. Maybe it was only a week. Yeah. After season 2 of Luke Cage has now been canceled. So there are 2 shows, 2 of the 5 Marvel shows that are now gone. We already know that season 3 of Jessica Jones and season 2 of The Punisher are like in development. So it's unlikely that those are going to be canceled before those are released. But I don't know. What did you think of that news?
I was fine with it, honestly. My take is that neither of these characters should have got their own show. They should have been put together. I think that's the way they should have done it. I didn't like the way they did Luke Cage season 1. I like the character, and especially in Jessica Jones. And like, okay, he's gonna get his own show. Okay, we'll see. I really would have liked to, if they had Iron Fist, just have them together, and that's their origin story together. I think they're a better fit. Maybe they're canceling those two, and then they're like, screw it, we're just gonna put them together as a show. But I haven't even watched Defenders because I didn't really care as much because of Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, Luke Cage season 1 was just basically a total disappointment to me.
Really?
Yeah, I felt as the main villain at the end. What's his name? The sergeant, whatever.
I don't remember his name, but I know what you're talking
whatever.
about.
Like
Yeah.
he should have been like the last episode kind of reveal as the guy that played, I think it was Mickey or Molly or whatever, the main villain for the most of the series. Should have been like the villain for the whole series.
That was Marshall Ali.
Yeah. And eventually then we would have find who the guy, Cottonmouth, who we would have found out that, his boss is this guy. You took Cottonmouth out, and then, but you only cut like a head off of like a 8-headed serpent or something like that. And like the fight scene between both of them were just, I didn't like at all. I thought that was like the worst fight scene out of like any of the shows, even for Jessica Jones. Like Jessica Jones is, some of the fighting scenes are like a little iffy, but it was that fight scene between those two guys at the end were just a Striker. That's what his name is. That was just a god awful fight scene. I was so totally disappointed in that. Iron Fist, I saw the trailer and I was like, no, I don't want to watch this at all. So I never even gave it a chance, but I think me not viewing it obviously is something to be said, because I think a lot of people probably didn't watch it either. But watching that trailer didn't resemble anything I wanted. Also, like I said, they should have put them together to start off with. Regardless of you liked them together, because reading the recent comic run, I really enjoyed how their interaction together, and I felt like that would have been a better thing to do. If anything, they could have had like Iron Fist flashback to like his origin of how he got his powers, while they did the like Luke Cage Iron Fist kind of run. And also, I think the problem is that they also didn't have Jessica, like Daredevil was like almost kind of after Jessica Jones, or Jessica Jones was almost after Daredevil season 1. But the problem is they probably should have done what they were doing like after they started to release them, kind of like 6 months in between each other.
Okay.
They should have like initially just did that like off the bat, just to go through season 1 of all those guys. So you
yeah, okay. I mean, they could. Yeah, I don't think they could have got away with that. Just
but that's the thing though. Like you say like, oh, we are taking a risk with Daredevil,
right?
But you gotta have. I think they should have had faith into that, because if Daredevil did good, right? Obviously,
yep.
But everything should have already been greenlighted by the time Daredevil started or got released.
But you don't know at that point, like, whether or not it's going to be successful.
I don't know. That's my point though. Like you gotta have that stuff coming out like to where people are like craving it. I feel once we got to like Daredevil season 2. I think people were fatigued. They're just like, okay, well, this is another season. I'll eventually watch it, and then they never get to watch it because it's not on right after they watch like the next one. They want to watch the next one, the next one, the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. I think what adds to what you're describing is the fact that these are constantly available things, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like if these were movies, for example, it would be easier to create that sort of emotional response of like wanting the next one, because like everyone goes to see it in the theater while it's there, and like if you don't see it there, then like you have to wait a couple months for it to come out on DVD and like stuff like that. So like you catch people who are even on the fence if it's in the theater, where like whereas on Netflix, like, oh, it'll always be there.
Yeah. Like
I can come watch this whenever, sort of thing. So I think in that aspect it hurts it. As far as the 4 shows are concerned, I think Iron Fist was my least favorite because I didn't like that was the only one where I didn't like the villain. I'm blanking on like that family name that was running Rand's corporation or whatever, but like son and daughter, and then like you didn't watch it, so you don't even know. The son and daughter, and then like their dad. Their dad was like alive behind the scenes working for the Hand.
Mm-hmm.
That was like only okay. I think Cottonmouth was a great villain. I think they killed him too soon. I like the first half of season 1 of Luke Cage. I think is great. Yeah, it was like then once they killed Cottonmouth, then it was like, and it was the lieutenant, like you were saying, and like his Cottonmouth's cousin or whatever, the city or senator or whatever she was. Like,
yeah, the girl he was working for.
Yeah. That's where that show turned sour. I do think what I meant to do before we started this, and I forgot, was I was going to look up like the press statement that they put out, that Netflix put out, and I remember watching someone talk about this, and they said that in the press statement they like read it, and every time they referenced like this being the end of Iron Fist, and this press statement came out before we knew Luke Cage was canceled, and so like every time that they referenced like, oh, like, you know, it was so sad to see this show like come to an end on Netflix, like, oh, we had such a good time, like, so sorry that it's going to end on Netflix. Like every time they reference the end of the show, it ended with on Netflix.
Yeah, because Disney is prepping. I think they already have a service similar
right. So
to
Disney
Netflix.
has their own streaming service, and that's where I think these are going to end up. But so like I definitely don't think that those shows are done, or at least those characters are done.
Mm.
But what I do think will happen is they are going to be combined, like you're talking about. So either it will be like Power Man and Iron Fist, or Heroes for Hire, which is like the two kind of names that like they go by. Or that I think there might even be 2 shows and another one for Daughters of the Dragon, which is Misty and Colleen Wing.
Mm.
So I personally do not think that this is over. I also read a really interesting article the other day about Netflix and how like a lot of their investors are worried at their like shotgun approach to content, that they're like, they just put out so much stuff. Like they recently purchased like $2 billion in bonds to like raise money to like buy more things and make new shows and stuff like that.
What we're seeing right now is the after effects of Netflix obviously destroying Blockbuster, and now we're seeing everyone getting their toes into the like streaming game. And right now I have Amazon Prime, and I believe Amazon Prime at the moment is better than Netflix, just with like what they have available. I want to watch more Amazon Prime stuff than Netflix stuff.
I would say,
because I've been watching Mr. Robot, I've been watching Man in the High Castle, watched Pacific, watched another series I'm blanking on.
I would say for Amazon Prime that they have their good shows are better than Netflix's good shows, but especially when you factor in the price, Netflix is a better plan.
Yeah, at the moment too. But yeah, I because I see how everyone's really using. I mean, they obviously use Amazon Prime, not just for the TV, but that's what a lot of people are watching it from. Netflix doesn't have that kind of capability. I guess they're not going to really get their feet wet in that. And then I think even Apple's developing stuff as well.
Yeah.
And so this is where we're really seeing maybe, the prelude of Netflix's demise and fall, which I think we're already seeing.
I think possibly a little bit. I think that's kind of what that article that I read was getting at, is that it's possible that Netflix actually didn't have enough money available to them to keep Iron Fist and Luke Cage, because of like they're having to buy bonds to like keep their like the rate of content continuing, like even though which seems ridiculous to me, because I think they have like 150 million like paid subscriptions or something like that, which is like a ton of money.
Yeah, but when you're producing a lot of these shows are costing a lot more than I think what a lot of people think too. Because you're also taking people from other studios that you're going to have to be paying more for just to get them to come over to Netflix. Because when you looked at Netflix at the start of it, when they started with House of Cards, it was like a really big move from like a network or from like a cable like the TV, whatever you want to call it, production, like HBO, to go into Netflix. You kind of have to pay people a lot more money just to, and then writers too. That's why I think they made a big investment in like their their production studios too, and bringing writers from all over
Yeah.
to create content.
I
for
think
them.
so far their model, I would say that their model has been a failure. I think that like they for every, Ozark, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Maniac, House of Cards, stuff like that, Stranger Things, there are 10 shows that come out that don't get really any publicity and like just completely like are sent out to die. And movies as well. Like there was that, what was that? Do you remember the name of that? Bright. The name of that Will Smith movie
Yeah.
that came out, and like they're doing a Bruce Willis movie, and like they've done a whole bunch of other like Netflix originals that like are complete trash.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they like just focused on the
Quality.
the seasons that are like very profitable, not profitable is not even the word, like very popular and very successful, instead of just like constantly throwing out new stuff.
Well, I think they're trying to build their own library as well, to where people are looking at, oh, this is what they have exclusive. It's kind of like what we look at the consoles, like video games, when like, oh, this console has this has this. I think what they're trying to do is trying to grab people, and they're losing shows as fast as they're gaining and making shows. So they need to be able to kind of resupply those kind of urges to, I guess. I think with the comedy specials, I think they're doing really good with that. I know a lot of comedians, from what I hear through like the Joe Rogan podcast and through what I hear through comedian friends, like, oh man, did you watch that Netflix special? Like, seems like they're doing really well with those. I don't know what else they can really add that can, kind of they just have to make more original content, like Ozark, like Stranger Things, to kind of compete. And Amazon Prime, like Man in a High Castle, it's like a good concept of a show, but it's like really bad acting, as always, as I say.
Watch your mouth.
But you got to have stuff like you got to be like hitting home runs, like with like HBO's kind of content too, because HBO doesn't make that much either, but they're more or less worried about quality over quantity. And over time, you'll have enough of that quality to where people are like, wow, like I really want a Netflix subscription. And I just have to. We'll see, I guess, in the future.
What I'm afraid of for Netflix is if they keep this up and like keep up the spending that they're putting out, is that like they're going to become Blockbuster in the sense of like what they are most used for is like old series.
Yeah. Well, Blockbuster too, also they overspent themselves, and that's why they went out of business too. They overspent on trying to make a streaming service just like Netflix, and it didn't work. And that's why they went out of business, because they thought they can do what Netflix can do, and they couldn't figure it out. And Netflix was also in the red as well with doing that, but their service was like 1,000 times better, and it just lasted the time, like just like Amazon.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess that kind of morphed into more of a Netflix discussion in general. But
well, it is. That's really what it is, though. When you look at it, it's not just looking at if Luke Cage and Iron Fist. It's like kind of like I said, it's like a prelude of Disney's gonna hold on to their properties since they've been able to do this. Same thing with HBO, but they're working with Amazon, so they have like a good partnership there.
Yeah.
But isn't like HBO owned by Amazon or something like that? No, Turner owns HBO.
Stars.
Yeah.
Amazon owns Stars, I think,
Yeah.
because you get a Stars subscription with your Prime, I think, or at least a trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So let us know in the comments what you guys think of, I guess at this point, Netflix in general, and more specifically the Iron Fist and Luke Cage cancellations.
Yeah, are you gonna really miss these shows? Please comment, because I want to laugh with those.
All right, we'll make a jump here from Marvel to the world of DC.
We say hello.
James Gunn
Yes.
is rumored anyway. Has this been confirmed, or is it still just rumored that he's going to be taking over Suicide Squad 2 for DC?
If it is, it's good for the quality of what Suicide Squad 2 is going to be. I don't. It's kind of, it feels weird because of all the everything that's went down and everything. Still for me, It's not that like, I just don't know because like when I look at him weird now, just because I'm like, did he touch kids? You know what I mean? It's like that's just me. But if he didn't, then we're good. Obviously, there's jokes.
I don't think
jokes.
a company like DC. I don't think he would have made it even. These rumors would have made it even this far. If
but like,
anything
I'm
like
still
that
gonna
was
look
true.
at him weird, regardless
Yeah,
even if he's innocent. It's just the way I'm not gonna say he's guilty either. But
So one of James Gunn's like last standing defenders has been Dave Bautista, who threatened to walk away from his role of Drax over all of this, and then he his last demand sort of thing was that they use James Gunn's script for Guardians 3 because they were planning on doing a rewrite, and he was going to walk away if they did a rewrite. So Dave Bautista has definitely shown
loyalty.
Yeah, definitely shown James Gunn a lot of loyalty, and I think perhaps if these rumors are true, the rumors being that Dave Bautista is going to play Bane in Suicide Squad 2, or like in some future movie in the DCEU. So he would most likely be working with James Gunn again. So James Gunn may be repaying that loyalty a little bit. So what do you think of Dave Bautista as Bane?
That's a negative, sir.
Not even the almost like the Injustice looking Bane with like the venom like coming.
If he doesn't talk,
through
yeah,
like the tubes and
cool.
all that, like
yeah.
in his.
If he doesn't talk, that's awesome.
Sure, I mean
it's not that I don't like Batista. I think he's a great comedic relief. I do think he deserves the opportunity to play in a similar role to get his feet wet. But if he's going into this kind of role just off the bat, I don't have a lot of faith.
I don't know. I think that
regardless of James Gunn being there, DC, I feel they seem like they try to taint things too much, or there's just always like a misstep. I'm not sure if it's with like the executives and then the people that are directly working on the movies that's like the hiccup, but I don't like to see him as Bane, honestly, because like when I look at Bane, obviously right now is obviously Tom Hardy, but you know, as good of an actor as Tom Hardy is, he really didn't really say too much as Bane, but like it resonated with me.
Well, he didn't have that many scenes.
Exactly.
So like he spoke in all of his scenes.
I know, but it just felt right. Actually, he didn't speak in all the scenes, but when he saved what's her name, he didn't talk.
Okay. Sure.
Flashback, man. You said every scene. Anyways, facts.
But he wasn't Bane in that scene. Get good.
He's still Bane.
Get wrecked. No, that was Tom Hardy in that scene.
That was not Tom Hardy in that scene.
He was not yet Bane.
That was Bane still.
Nope.
That's still Bane.
Nope.
Anyways.
That was pre-mask. He's not Bane. Get out.
Okay, we'll look at the lore. See what it was called then. Regardless, I don't like it at all one bit. I think he played like a serious role in that one hotel movie, and that didn't work out too good.
I almost said Transylvania.
Yeah, and then he was also in A Man in the Iron Fist, and he was not good in those either. I'm sorry, Batista.
Oh, he was in Blade Runner. He's the dude that dies in the beginning, but he's a replicant that Ryan Reynolds comes and kills.
Yeah. I would like to see him do stuff like that instead of this before. I want a good DC Bane. I don't want no dude, let's just give him a chance because he's loyal. No.
I got loyalty.
Yeah. I can't even think of anyone off the top of my head that could be Bane right now.
That's because I think Dave Bautista is the best choice. That's why you can't think of anyone to be Bane, because you already found your Bane. It's Dave Bautista.
I think there's a better choice out there. We're just not even looking at it.
We talked about this before we started recording, and what I said was that in the condition of the DCEU at the moment, even if you don't think Bane is that great of a choice, they can afford to take that risk. And two, I would say that especially his role as Drax would be a more difficult role than
I think he was perfect for Drax, though, because it's not that his acting skills aren't the best, but he was able to kind of have fun and play a character that he was kind of already playing in like the WWE. He had scenes where they were kind of like skits that resemble like Drax, and how like not a meathead, but you know how gullible he is, and like how he doesn't get sarcasm.
Nothing would go over my head.
Yeah, exactly. Like, stuff like
my
that,
reflexes are too
like
quick.
stuff like that, like made sense for him. Because I remember like there's like stupid scenes in WWE where he, like I was like, okay, I see why he was casted as that. When I see Bane, yeah, I see like I've seen him in WWE obviously, and see how just like crazy he gets and how physical he can get. But I don't think he can like deliver those lines to give like the character justice.
I can't think of anything that would make me believe that he couldn't do that.
No, well, you haven't watched enough WWE then.
No, I don't watch I don't watch that trash.
Okay, then you that's too bad, because like you've obviously are not feeling what I'm feeling right now.
Yes, that is true. I don't see I don't see the harm in it. Like at a minimum, I don't see the harm in letting him try. Like, what does DC have to lose? Suicide Squad 2 bombs? Oh no! Extra, read all about it. Another DCEU movie bombs at the box office. Well, imagine that.
Well, it's not. I'm not saying that I just want a good movie, and I don't think I can get a good movie with him as Bane. Simple as that.
I'm gonna let that one slide.
Yeah, let it slide.
Just because I don't want to
slide down that throat.
I don't want to destroy you in front of all of our
Get into that
viewers.
stomach, and then poop it out later.
No. That's like, there's no logic there.
There's perfect logic there. You haven't seen him in that kind of role, and then
You just said that it was very similar to his role as Drax. That like that sort of behavior.
What do you? No, I said. Oh my god! I said his role on the WWE. He's had scenes where it would make sense for him to be Drax.
Okay.
He has not done that for Bane. Is what I'm saying.
But that feeds into my point, because I'm saying that sort of role is more difficult than to just be a brute, which is all Bane really is.
That's where we're different, because you're not seeing what he's capable of doing. I don't see him being capable of doing that. Like I've already made the whatever evidence. I'm blanking on the word to say this, but like I said, he's had scenes in the WWE before he was casted as Drax, that would have made sense to what the Drax that they went for made sense. But what I've seen from him makes no sense to where he would give Bane the justice.
So you haven't seen anything that makes him worthy of the role of Bane.
Yeah, but
that doesn't counter my point in any way.
It does, because you're saying, he can just do it. He just do it. Just give him a chance.
Because it is an easier role to play.
Because he was loyal. He can just do it.
That's not what I'm saying at all.
That's what you just said.
It is an easier role to play than the Drax role.
No, I don't think it is.
It's literally just stand there and be Batman.
Who else besides Batista can you think of can play Bane?
I don't know.
Okay, then.
That's because Jay Batista is the one.
Because there was only one Bane, and that one Bane is Tom Hardy.
Sure.
And that's it for now. Honestly, I think Ben Affleck would have been a good Bane. That's a good joke, huh?
No.
Because of his voice. This is like...
Sure.
Sorry, no. I'm joking. It was a joke.
Okay. Let us know. Give us some good options that we can debate about or laugh at if you're Radio, I guess.
Charizard. Charizard would be a good Bane.
Here we go.
I'm just listening because I see Charizard.
Give us some options as to who should be playing Bane in the DCEU before it crumbles to the ground. In other DCE news, now that I just remembered off the top of my head, we don't really need to discuss this, but just like FYI, Wonder Woman was delayed 7 months to 2020, June 2020, I think, and The Flash was delayed into 2021. So where there's smoke, there's fire in the DCEU land.
I don't think it's a fire. It's a goddamn forest fire, sir.
Yeah,
well, it's blazing. It's been blazing.
It makes me so sad.
Since
we talked
Man of Steel.
Yeah.
It was a small fire at Man of Steel, where we saw the smoke. Now it's like, wow, guys, half the valley's gone.
I will die on the hill that is Man of Steel.
Hey, man, I'm here for you.
I will die on the
I'm
hill that
here for
is
you,
Batman
Jacob.
vs Superman.
Hey, I'm here for you, man.
You just don't. People don't understand. People don't understand. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I'm sorry. My Superman is Max Landis, his Superman that he wrote a couple years ago. That's my Superman
Well,
right there.
American Alien.
Yeah, that was a great take on Superman. That's the Superman I want. But anyways, let's keep moving, young man.
Young man. Let me pull up. Oh, wait, are we gonna go to undrafted or Pennsylvania Avenue?
Undrafted.
Undrafted. Okay.
Oh, is the game actually started yet?
It is 30 minutes in.
Okay. Check the score real quick.
I'm checking the score.
And then what we're going to get into context for what we're going to be talking about next is the World Series. Me and Jacob like talking about baseball. Wow.
Boston 2, LA.
So at the
0.
moment, the game is literally started. It's Tuesday, like we've already said while we're talking about new releases. I burped. The LA Dodgers are taking on the Boston Red Sox in the I don't know how many World Series is
more than
this
100.
is. Yeah, more than 100. Which is kind of cool because in my eyes, I was talking to I went to a show and I was talking to a guy that's a Yankees fan, and he dressed up as like an old Yankees player for the like show because it was a costume party.
Did you boo him?
No, I was talking to him and I was like, dude, you're a Yankees fan. I know like the Yankees didn't make the World Series, but dude, like finally we're seeing like two historic teams in like the World Series that you've kind of only seen in like videos where it's like Dodgers, Yankees kind of feel. And this is like something I'm like, wow, because like I mean, obviously the expansion teams, it's good on them to get into their, teams that never really been ever, and then get into there eventually and win. But to see like the Dodgers and Red Sox, for me when the Red Sox got confirmed, I was like, okay, all right, but okay, that's one of my picks. And then the Dodgers, it seemed like Game 6 was gonna be like, oh man, this is not looking good. And the next day, close it out. Kershaw, closing them, getting them.
That was the most. Sorry to cut you off, but like that was the most needless one inning of work.
Yeah.
In the history of baseball, like they did not need to bring in Clayton Kershaw. Right.
But they still won the game. That's all that matters.
That's true.
And I was super stoked because, like I said, it's something I've always seen. Like I always do my Wikipedia like black hole things, and like looking at past World Series, like this is like the only thing I can see it be compared to would be, I think it was 1980. The last series the Dodgers and Yankees played against each other was like 1981. Like that's like the last series where like these two teams with so much history like are playing each other finally. And I'm like super. And actually the Mets and kind of the Yankees a little bit, but not so much.
The Mets aren't like that old of a.
I know, but it's still kind of. Like
who did the Giants play in their 3?
Cardinals. No, they didn't Cardinals. They beat the Cardinals to get the World Series.
Yeah.
Royals. No, they lost to the Royals.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'll look it up just because I'm curious. Because I feel like one of those was probably like a somewhat historical matchup.
Wasn't the Yankees? It wasn't the Red Sox, so it wasn't anything historical then.
Okay. Let me look.
Like Cleveland? No.
Winners, 2000s. Cubs Indians, just 2 years ago. That's a somewhat historical.
I would say the Cubs hold a lot more. I think it would be Indians, yes, but the Indians haven't won since '48. So, and like they only had
Giants, Royals, Giants, Tigers, Giants, Rangers.
Giants, Tigers, yeah, but not Dodgers, Red Sox though.
Yeah, it's not on the same level. I understand. Not the 04 World Series win for the Red Sox was Red Sox Cardinals.
Yeah, but again, not the Dodgers.
Okay, fair enough.
Because like when you look at, I think both of these teams are the original franchises actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was Boston Braves, and then the Red Sox were called something else. I forgot what it was called. And then the Dodgers are obviously in Brooklyn. And I think they were called something else before the Dodgers too. I'll have to double check that.
Probably. It's probably true.
From what I remember looking up stuff like that. But yeah, it's like, it's awesome. Because when I talk to baseball with my dad and talk to him about stuff, and like now I get I'm grown up and I get to see a series like this, and obviously it's already 2-0 and we're already missing the game. Regardless, it's been like, I was like, oh man, Dodgers Red Sox? I'm like, what? I live in a time when the Dodgers are playing the Red Sox in the World Series. I'm sorry. Like, I know you wanted the other two teams.
Well, I just don't like. I don't know. Maybe it's because the Red Sox have been good in our lifetime, but
Yeah. But I'm talking
I don't like. Yes, the Dodgers are a traditional power, but like, I don't care that either one of these teams are a traditional power. If that makes sense.
What? Well, because you're an Angel fan, so I think that's why.
No, just in general. Like, I want a good World Series. Like, whatever the teams. Like, I think Milwaukee and Boston would have been a good World Series. Like, Milwaukee's. I will die on this hill as well. Milwaukee's a better team than the Dodgers are.
Well, not in that series though.
Okay. Yes, they lost the series,
but that's also like
team.
Baseball's kind of like thing though too. Sometimes the best teams don't win the World Series that year.
Look at the Angels World Series.
Yeah.
That World Series, the Angels and the Giants in 2002, both of those were the wild card teams.
Yeah, exactly. That's just like baseball. It's like who's hot, who's not. Who is hot? The Dodgers.
Yeah, I guess. I'm definitely excited for this World Series. I am biased against the Dodgers, yes, but it's going to be a good series.
But you also don't like the Red Sox either.
No, I don't really like the Red Sox. I find all of them, all of their ilk, the Dodgers and the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Cubs, to be mostly entitled fans that feel like because they're fans of a historic franchise, they deserve to be good. And like, that's not how sports works. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Like, that's why I guess that's part of the reason why I'm so indifferent as to like the fact that these are two like traditional, like century-old powerhouses that are going against each other. Like, because I had to hear for the last, the Red Sox have won the World Series somewhat recently, but like from the Dodgers fans, I've had to hear for the last 30 years about like how great the Dodgers are, but like you haven't won in 30 years. Like, a whole generation of people hasn't seen the Dodgers be good.
Well, yeah, but like I think that's the point. It's like I like that's also what baseball is good for, is that it cycles. There's a parity of this. You know, teams that keep on winning don't just win all the time. Recently,
that's true.
I think the last 20 years have shown a really good way a league should be.
Half of the teams that made the playoffs this year, on average anyway, it's like season over season, half of the teams that made the playoffs this year won't make the playoffs next year.
Exactly. So that's what I like. I mean, you have somewhat similar with football. But you have more like traditional powers, like the New England recently literally the last 20 years for them. Steelers have been traditionally like always making the playoffs somehow, either in the wild card or. But with baseball, you always get that cycle. Like last year, it was the Dodgers and Astros. The year before that was blanking.
Astros
Cubs. No, it was
Astros
Cubs,
Indians.
Yeah, Astros Indians. So
Sorry.
it's like
no Cubs Indians. Sorry.
Cubs Indians. Yeah, and then. It's nice to see stuff like that, and then even before that, it was the Giants, Mets, Royals,
Giants
Royals, and then Mets, Royals before that.
Mets haven't been in the World Series for
they played
while.
They played the Royals.
Was that the year the Royals won?
Yeah.
Am I just blanking on the fact that holy crap, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow, the Mets are really terrible. That makes me feel even worse for the Mets.
That's what I'm saying, though. It cycles, and like you see how bad the Mets were this year.
And the Royals. The Royals were trash too.
Exactly. They basically give away their last player this past off season, and then all they have is Alex Gordon.
If that's even like worth writing home about.
Well, I'm just saying though, they still have Alex Gordon, just like the Orioles had Davis.
Whew. Chris Davis had such a bad year this year.
Yeah, but so let's get into your pick then, since you don't equally hate these teams as much, but you have a deep hatred for both of these teams.
I'm going with the Red Sox simply because of the way that they dispatched of the Houston Astros. The Houston Astros have the best starting rotation of any team in the league, and they completely annihilated them. They had a couple of calls go their way, specifically the fan interference one in Game 5, I think it was, whatever game Verlander pitched. Yeah, that would have been Game 5. This just feels like it's the Red Sox year. They were literally unstoppable in the regular season. I think they have the better starting pitching. I think Clayton Kershaw is the best starting pitcher in this World Series, but I think the Red Sox have a much better rotation because I would take part Porcello. I would take David Price. I would take Chris Sale. Well, Chris Sale's going up against Kershaw tonight. So, like, Price, Porcello, Pomeranz, like, people like that. I would take all of them over, like, Ryu, Rich Hill, Ross Stripling might not even be on the roster, Walker Buehler. Like, I would take Kershaw over Sale, but all the rest of the Boston pitchers over the Dodgers pitchers.
Yeah. Also the lineups.
But I think also
I think also the Dodgers lineup isn't it can trouble a pitcher at times too.
I think they are approximately equal, like in the top half of the orders.
And then once we get to the bottom.
But I think that the Red Sox have a bit more well-rounded, like the way that Jackie Bradley Jr. has been playing in the playoffs so far, and Andrew Benintendi in left. I do think one thing that could work in favor of the Dodgers is that they're probably the best NL team. If this is going to make sense, I'm not sure. They're the most prepared of all the National League teams to play American League Baseball, if that makes sense. Where in that, like, someone becomes a DH sort of thing, and I think that the Red Sox are not very well prepared to play National League rules. Where, like, 'cause, like, there's already talk about, like, them moving Mookie Betts from right field to second base because, like, they need to, like, fit everyone in their lineup when they go to Dodger Stadium, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do think the Red Sox are the better team. They had, like, I think 12 more wins than the Dodgers did in the regular season. Not that the regular season really matters anymore. But it just feels like their year.
Yeah. I mean, okay, who's the better team, Astros or Brewers?
The Astros.
Okay.
By, like, 10 wins.
Well, we're not talking about regular season. I'm talking about
the Astros.
Okay. Like, on paper. Yeah, okay.
Like, if we were to play that series over again, I would have picked the Astros again. Even though like I said, this feels like the Red Sox year, the Astros, I still believe, are a better team.
Okay.
But I'm going to go with the Red Sox. Who are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with the Dodgers.
I hate you.
Well, I mean, I had to pick against you, right?
I can't live in a world where the Dodgers win the World Series.
Well, I mean, it looks like the Dodgers are, like, just beating teams they shouldn't be beating.
Do you know the level to which...
If they win this series, I think it would be... Well, I don't know if it's going to be... I hope it's as good as last year's series. But it would be a pretty big, like, historic win to beat a team like this, too. It's like the Giants beating the Patriots, kind of feel. But, like, the Giants are a little bit better. I'm not saying, like, you described how Boston was this season.
Yeah.
And I think they really resemble that team, like, on their dominance. And the Dodgers, I mean, not that they got lucky, but they did have to play the one-game playoff. They won that. And then they had to get through. They got through the Braves pretty well, and then they had to go through 7 games to the Brewers, which team they probably shouldn't have beaten.
That's another thing is that the Red Sox have, like, a few extra days rest.
Yeah,
because they didn't have to play extra games. Like, all their bullpen has had, like, days off. All their starters have had extra days off. Like, Clayton Kershaw pitched 2 days ago.
Yeah,
even though it was 1 inning, like, he pitched 2 days ago. So that could be a factor as well. But yeah, I'm just gonna. I can't live in a world where the. Do you know how badly I wanted the Dodgers to lose that 1-game playoff? I would have made my own podcast of me simply laughing at the Dodgers for trading away their entire farm system for Manny Machado and not making the playoffs. That's, like, what I wanted in my life. That's all I wanted.
Well, the Brewers still made the playoffs. I mean, not the Brewers. The Rockies still made the playoffs.
No, they lost in the.
No, because they beat the.
No, you're right.
That's what I was a little. I was like, oh man, the Cubs didn't win. Damn.
I don't care. My beef with them is that they're entitled.
Okay, well, we got to move on anyways because we're over.
All right, go Red Sox. Can't believe I just had to say that.
Let's get in. Let's take a stroll down Pennsylvania Avenue, big boy.
I pull it up. Let's do it. We
got history for you, and we're gonna talk about a cool little topic at the end, and then we're done.
Si, senor.
I think I'm gonna skip work, honestly.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
So this is This Week in History, running from Thursday, October 25th, through Wednesday, October 31st. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it.
Hit me with that knowledge.
October 25th.
Get smart, kids. October 25th.
October 25th.
October 25th.
October 25th.
October 25th.
2000. not 2000. Sorry,
Whoa.
I was reading like today's.
That's
or
like
yesterday's date.
this year.
Or this whatever. I don't know why I read 2018. I should really stop putting like the year every time I put it on there. So October 25th, 1760. Are you ready for some truth bombs?
Hit me.
George III of England is crowned king.
What
You know what
year is
he's 1760.
Okay.
And what is he most famous for?
Losing to the Americans.
Ding 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 ding. We have a winner.
We got you, England. It was a German accent. 'cause
Also
they beat
very
them at
famous at this
soccer.
point
Sorry.
for being in Hamilton and having a really funny part.
Have
Have you ever seen his like little thing? It's like the
No.
best part of Hamilton. Hamilton's really overrated in general, but
Deuce.
that's the scene with the King of England is really good.
But he also, I think he's Austrian or German. So that's how he inherited.
I did not know that.
Because you know how all those like European families were just like,
Yeah, yeah.
And I believe he came from. That's why he didn't really have much respect for England, and then also that he didn't really want to be there in the first place because he missed home. I believe.
Interesting. Never heard that before. October 25th, 1881. A man by the name of Pablo Picasso was born. He's actually not as old as I thought he was.
Yeah, he's like
He's only like 130 or 140.
Yeah, he was born at the turn of the century.
Just about. He was 19 in 1900.
Okay, and then I like how like the tail end of his career, like because everyone knew who he was, so the way he I mean maybe he didn't have money, maybe he got like scammed out of his money, so I remember listening to a story where he used to draw like something and like here's this, give me a pack of cigarettes. He used to buy stuff
Interesting.
with his like
Yeah,
art.
with his art.
Yeah, which was funny, but like he would just like scribble something.
Yeah.
Because that's, I mean, not that it's a style, but that's like what a lot of people like call him, like the scribble guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, he used to do that just to get cigarettes.
Interesting. October 25th, 1962. Nelson Mandela is sentenced to prison in South Africa.
Boost.
Hashtag apartheid.
And then it wasn't until 1992.
We had it like not that long ago. Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
And then
it was supposed to only be a 5-year sentence as well.
Yeah, they just basically piled
but they
that
just
on.
kept him there.
What's that movie with Matt Damon and the rugby team?
I don't remember,
with
but I know which one.
Morgan Freeman, Invictus.
Yes,
I think that depicts that pretty well. So if you want to,
didn't Forrest Whitaker also play with Nelson Mandela at some point?
No, Last King of Scotland is what he played.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. I know everything.
Ooh, you got a message from Xbox Live. You are special.
Hey guys, you just pre-order Red Dead Redemption. Come lick my nips. All right, here we go.
October 26th, 1881 is the anniversary of
Anne Frank?
No. The shootout at the OK Corral with
what year?
The Earp brother, the OK Corral.
No, what year?
Oh, what year? 1881.
Okay.
The Earp brothers, including Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, getting into a gunfight. Probably one of the most famous gunfights that there is.
Wasn't the Tombstone actually happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I thought that. Never mind. Yeah. OK Corral.
Or at least that's like the story of like what happened.
I remember like always hearing stupid intros and like, oh, at the OK Corral, this is what happened, and then stupid movie happened.
Stupid movie.
Yeah. Always that Western, like that Western voice where the shooting at the OK Corral, but I don't do it really well.
Clearly,
obviously, I'm not from the South. Duh.
October 27th, 1858. A man by the name of Theodore Roosevelt is born.
Theodore Roosevelt?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Are
he
you
actually
serious?
became president. There's another thing on this list on a later date.
He became president?
That ties into Teddy Roosevelt.
Wow.
In like kind of a somewhat direct way.
Didn't he also have like a niece that married his like third cousin?
Mm-hmm. He did.
And then he became president?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Small world.
Wow. Also started the national parks, I believe.
He did.
And
Park
then
Service.
One of the I don't know if the first president, but one of the few presidents at the time that visited like the West Coast. They're in those kind of what's it called? movements for like national forests and for preservation. He did visit like Yosemite. He went on what's his name? It's not Ansel Adams. Oh God, John Muir.
John Muir. Yeah.
He camped out with him, and like was like in like camping attire, I guess. And when he had to make press, he didn't want to make any kind of press kind of appearances because he wanted just to wear his regular stuff, and knew if he looked like that in the press, then it would look frowned upon, I guess. And also visiting Yellowstone. It was interesting to like listen and to read stuff like that. I don't know, because I went to Yosemite since I think like the year I was born all the way up until high school, like every year, and always was like learning about John Muir and Ansel Adams, and the park rangers, and like their history in that valley was like pretty neat. But yeah, so.
Yeah. I lost my spot.
Place to visit.
October.
That should be on everyone's bucket list to go see how beautiful that place is. Everyone should go.
October.
Have you ever been to Yosemite?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I used to live like up in that area. Like there are things on like the Pacific campus that are named after John Muir or something.
Okay.
It's like big in that area.
Wait, did you go as a kid or did you go after college?
I went as a kid and right before college.
I was gonna slap you if you didn't go as a kid.
I'm sorry. What if I like didn't make it up there?
I would have slapped you.
Okay. October 27th, 1904, the New York subway opens to the public.
Wow.
To give their, I didn't write down the name of the stations that it went between, but like, I would be pretty sketched out to go on the subway. I think in 1904.
I guess.
Like I ain't looking to die in a cave.
But this is the way they probably marketed it. It was like, oh, it's safe, everybody, and not to say how stupid people were, but how like, I believe this guy. He looks like he's believable.
Yeah, I guess. October.
I still can't believe like how things are built on top of each other over there. But yeah,
they don't have space. They don't have space.
That's sketch. That's the sketchy part, not the tunnels.
Well, they don't have earthquakes, so.
But still, I don't care. That's so you see all swamps, dude. What the hell? I'm sorry.
October 28th, 1636. Harvard College is founded in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
And like last week or the week before,
we
Yale?
had Yale, yeah. And the people founded Yale because they thought Harvard was too liberal, which is like very ironic.
One of our favorite alumni to listen to who went to Harvard Law School.
He did.
Good old Ben Shapiro.
October 28th, 1793. Eli Whitney.
Mark Zuckerberg went there too. Sorry.
Oh, okay. There you go. Good job, Mark Zuckerberg. 1793. Eli Whitney applies for a patent for the cotton gin. I feel like this is the reason why I put this in here, because there are a lot of in the like site that I go to. There are a lot of like there was one in here for the guy that made barbed wire and like, but I didn't include it. But the reason I picked the cotton gin one is because
I think you did barbed wire. You did barbed wire.
No, it would have been this week and I didn't do it.
No, I think we did. We talked about barbed wire.
No, we did. Yeah, we talked about barbed wire because we talked about
Nobel Peace Prize.
Nobel and his creation of dynamite and like how it like affected him negatively, and then you brought up the guy that created barbed wire.
Oh, okay, never mind. That was stupid.
The reason I included the cotton gin is because I feel like this is the unofficial start of like the Industrial Revolution. I feel like when we learn about the Industrial Revolution in school, like it kind of starts here with like the cotton gin. I
think I went to elementary school for a little bit in Santa Ana, like Unified, and then I eventually moved out of Santa Ana Unified. But we went to a place by Godinez High School. It's like a house, and I think they actually had like a cotton gin there to show like history around the time period, which would have been this time, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, what year is this?
This was 1793.
Okay, no, never mind. It would explain like what stuff was used for. I think they just had a cotton gin there. I remember seeing one in person. It was cool. And then I think I saw one when I went down south in Arkansas, maybe, for some kind of tour for like a Civil War battlefield.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, so the cotton gin was like one of the first major industrial like devices that like kind of cut the work of many people down to one like operator and stuff like that. And
when you take cotton from like whatever, it's like kind of like a little flower, and you spread it in like there's thorns and it dries up, and you're cutting yourself. It was actually like kind of like the first step towards computing too, when you think about it a little bit. Like
I guess, yeah.
You know, I think I heard something like that, where you're kind of like doing the same kind of like ching ching.
Yeah.
Ching, ching.
Yeah.
But yeah. Or being mechanical, I guess.
Yeah.
Which would led to computing. But yeah.
I lost my spot again. It's okay. October 28th, 1886, the Statue of Liberty is dedicated on Liberty Island in New York Harbor. A gift from the French. I'm totally blanking on the dude's name who sculpted it. Small anecdote. I have always really wanted them to like clean it.
It's probably expensive.
They paint the Golden Gate Bridge constantly to keep it red. Like they literally, by the time they get to the end, they go back to the beginning and start.
I guess, I don't know.
Like you can't just scrape some copper off of, or scrape some.
Yeah, it would be very cool to see that in its original state. But I probably, like when it was finally up, what is it, copper still? There's probably already corrosion going on it.
No, like what the reality of it would be that
because it took a
like
while
if they
for it
scraped
to here.
if they scraped the oxidized copper off of it, it's actually going to be like taking from the statue, because like on the surface layer, like it's actually like not pure copper anymore, or bronze or whatever.
Yeah.
So like you'll actually be like filing away the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, because it's gonna get smaller.
But like they
Can't
should
you
do
just
it like
add
once
back?
every 100 years.
Well, it's been like 100 years, right?
It's been 140 years. I just want to see what it looks like.
I would too, but we don't look. That's the perk of living in that time, in New York,
I guess.
by the Liberty Island.
I wonder like how. I'm curious now. I'm gonna look it up later. Like how long it took to be like the color that it is.
Probably like a couple decades, maybe
know.
even less than that.
I'm not sure.
Because it's seawater.
Yeah.
But it took a long time for it to just get here, for sure.
Yeah.
And then to
there are two other ones, right?
Parts of one, and I think there's one in France
There's
too.
one in France, yeah.
Yeah, and the other one just like is all. There's just like a random hand somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a random head, I believe, from what I've read. I think I have to double check that.
I'm blanking on my National Treasure history lesson. National Treasure Book of Secrets, the second one.
Plus, the desk and so that's so. Oh my god.
October 28th, 1927, Pan Am, which is a commercial flight company, Pan America, completes the first scheduled international flight in 1927.
1927.
I know. I think I saw it on there earlier. There was the anniversary of the first round trip to Paris and the first round trip to London, and there were like two different companies. One of them was Pan Am. I forget who the other one was, and like they like picked. They intentionally they basically like each one of them wanted to be the first or whatever. So like one of them was given the trip to Paris and one of them was given the trip to London.
Okay.
Sort of thing. So that like both of them could be like, hey, look at us. Like
we're better than you
Yeah.
Europeans.
Yeah.
That's the one where, not the subway. That's the one I'm
by
like,
the plane?
yeah.
Really? I don't know. Dude.
Those ones had like those ones probably had a higher percentage. Come on, dude. You're just like, oh, you want to go on a plane to Paris? Like, oh, to Paris? Like, yeah.
Planes are pretty safe, even back then.
I don't know, dude. I'm more sketched out about that stuff.
All right. October 20th, 1955.
It's 1927. Jesus. That's a year before my grandma was born.
55.
Sorry.
Some random dude named Bill Gates was born.
Holy crap.
He didn't really do anything.
1955?
Yeah.
Wow.
He didn't really do anything significant with his life, though. So I'm not really sure why I put it on here.
He just didn't create, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Or Microsoft.
One of his co-founders died like last week. I forget his name.
Yes. He was the ex-CEO.
And then Steve Ballmer, of course, owns the Clippers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bill Gates, probably one of the great and aggressive minds in the tech industry. Was really smart in the way he went about developing Microsoft. It was really smart to do that because he got hardware basically for free in a way to develop what he was doing, and it didn't look like what he was doing was really important. Because I remember when they were doing IBM, like I was listening to something on like IBM on how he kind of like snuck his way, kind of was funded by IBM. Basically, Microsoft was funded by, I believe it was IBM, or it was another company that was a competitor of IBM, and basically developed this software that no one thought was like important, and then later on was like one of the most important things in computing, which is crazy.
Si, senor. October 29th, 1901. I'm going to totally butcher this name, but a man by the name of Leon Kozlgaz. Czolgozz.
Can you re-say that last name?
Kozlgaz.
One more time?
No, I'm just going to move on. This dude was executed by the federal government for the assassination of William McKinley. I told you there was another like connection to Roosevelt because he followed.
Oh yeah.
Roosevelt followed. That's how Roosevelt took office.
Remember you saying that?
Was McKinley's assassination?
He got shot. No, it was Teddy Roosevelt that did a speech.
Yeah,
but I think he had some kind of appearance, and that's when he got shot. And he just kept on. I think
that happened. That story I think happened after he was president. I don't think he was in office when that happened.
What?
When he got shot and then
Theodore
finished his
Roosevelt?
speech. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought McKinley died when. Weird thing too. Roosevelt was like out on a trip, like a camping trip, when he found out like after.
Someone had to like come find him, like
hey,
yo, you're president.
Yeah, which was like weird. Because his career was going into kind of the dark end, because after he had been vice president, he didn't know if he was going to be able to run or the party was going to allow him to. They kind of stuck him out there because he was the mayor, or not mayor, he was senator of, or governor of New York, I believe.
Yeah.
And then they asked him to become vice president so they can get him out of that, because he was just always progressive kind of policies kind of put him in that little.
They wanted him like out of the way, basically.
Yeah, because at the time, I don't think it was until maybe Carter's administration on how important the vice president was, how much they can really do. So like being vice president around that time was basically like the same. Like it was like, oh, here you're just it's just a tag on your
get a little
like,
sticker
nameplate.
that says vice president VP.
Yeah. Well, I think that I think under Kennedy there was a lot of sketchy stuff going under with Johnson, but that was just him doing his like sketchy things, if you know what I mean.
Let's see, one more here, and then I got 2 more days. So October 29th, 1929 is known as Black Tuesday. We had Black Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
So Black Tuesday is the single largest drop in U.S. stock market history.
1930.
29.
Oh, 29, sorry.
This was literally like a few days after the Black Thursday.
Yeah.
And 40% of the stock market's value is lost. It was the like total value of the stocks was $80 billion like the day before. And at the end of Black Tuesday, the total value was decreased by $30 billion. So the stock market lost 40% in one day.
Damn.
Which is a lot.
Yeah. That sucked for a lot of people that lived during that time, honestly.
Yes, it did.
Like the farmers, obviously, and that's tragic. A lot of people obviously committing suicide. A lot of what's it called? I guess, yeah, poverty.
Yeah. Yes.
At the time, it would be labeled as poverty at the time. Because I remember, like Cinderella Man, you really got to see that kind of way people were. And then I remember reading something about like Babe Ruth being like surrounded by people at the time, and like he would like give out tickets, and people were like, "No, we want food instead." That's how crazy it was. Like just like the way that stuff is described. But yeah.
October 30th, 1735 is the birthday of John Adams, the second president of the United States.
Low key, he's like, the more I read about him, he's like more of like the president I really enjoyed, and like is moving up there in the ranks. Just like his presidency was like the part where it's like, but like before
I was gonna say, like, what's the name of that law that they passed?
Pretty lit.
The like censorship of the newspaper, or like they could go after newspapers for printing like bad things about.
It's not espionage.
Totally blanking. I should know it.
I think they can use that on press. The Espionage Act. It's not slander. I know what you're talking about. Just like a lot of. I get what you're saying. One cool like little thing, like when he went to Spain, or actually he had to go to France and there was a cool story of him trying to go to France, and his ship basically got blockaded and almost destroyed.
Oh yeah.
And then he ended up in Spain because of just circumstances, because the British, obviously, Navy, and what's in front of you, it's like France, obviously, you want to be in the way of that. So he made a trip with his two of his sons, and one of his sons was what president was he? What number?
6, right?
John Quincy?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe?
Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Quincy. Quincy, someone
Jackson.
Polk, or someone Jackson.
Van Buren. Okay, yeah. So yeah.
I think it was 6.
Yeah, okay. And then he was like a young boy at the time, and they made that trip on donkeys from basically like the tip of west Spain all the way up until France, which was like crazy.
Yeah.
And like they barely survived.
Yeah.
There's also pretty badass.
There's also a really good HBO miniseries titled John Adams.
Mm-hmm.
It is Paul
Giamatti,
right, is the one who plays, and there's also a lot of other historic. They have Washington and Jefferson and Ben Franklin. There's a lot of like famous famous actors playing very famous like founding fathers in that miniseries. I actually watched it like within the last year. I didn't even know that it existed. I kind of just stumbled upon it, and like it's really great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's always like a weird thing in history too when you look at like leaders in the country and how insignificant they were before action was taken. Like he was a schoolboy teacher in his younger days, and then becomes like a politician and whatnot, which is like crazy.
Yeah,
because that's I'm reading about the Middle East, and that's what a lot of people, what I'm reading, like that are not gaining power, but getting political power, and what they were doing before. They were just tired of the system. And that's like what it is.
October 30th, 1974. Don't normally throw a lot of sports things into our This Week in History.
Sports.
But a lot of people consider this to be perhaps the greatest sporting event of like the 20th century, maybe. October 30th, 1974 is the anniversary of the Rumble in the Jungle.
It's like Muhammad Ali.
Which is Muhammad Ali, and he knocked out, at the time, the sitting world champion, which was George Foreman.
Okay.
And then this was followed up by the Thrilla in Manila, like a couple years later, I think, right?
With who's the guy they fought? I'm like blanking on the fighter's name. Not Frazier. Frazier.
It was Frazier.
Yeah. Joe Frazier. There's like a series apparently about that stuff between him and Ali.
Oh.
And it paints like Ali as the villain.
Wasn't there a 30?
Really
I was gonna say 30 for 30 probably wouldn't do that, but there is a 30 for 30. I think about it.
Yeah, and then there's another like series that they did that.
October 31st. This is Halloween.
The Night Before Christmas.
Yeah, it is.
Was released on what date? What year?
Oh no, the line I was singing from The Night Before Christmas. I don't know when that movie came out.
Okay, what's the topic?
Sorry. October 31st, 1517. Not when The Night Before Christmas came out, but Martin Luther nails his 95 Theses to the door of the church in Wittenberg, Germany, starting what many people call what?
Sorry, you saying 31st? I didn't get the context.
October 31st is Halloween.
I know, but like it didn't hit me, and I thought you were singing the Night Before Christmas song, and I was like, "Is it Night Before Christmas?" Like saying like this is the one that movie came out. But yeah, I got you. Okay, sorry.
No. October 31st. In case you didn't know, October 31st is Halloween.
Okay.
In other news, in October 31st, 1517, Martin Luther nailed his 95 Theses to the door of the church. And this started the Protestant Reformation. He's basically like the first Protestant.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and started the Lutheran Church. You learned that. You should have learned that in middle school. I think that was the first time I saw that. I believe maybe even before that, maybe 5th grade. Learning about Martin Luther.
Is middle school, isn't it?
Depends on your middle school system.
Okay.
I guess I went 6 to 8 is my middle school. Maybe even 4. I think it was 5th grade for learning about Martin Luther for the first time. I knew of him. I knew the name, and then finally learning about him and like why he left the church, and then like he married out to like a nun, I think. And then I kind of want to read a little bit more about him because where we're learning about like the Catholic Church right now. Like he probably had insight on like that stuff back in the day too, because they easily got away with a lot of that stuff back in the day. if it happened.
Well, yeah, a lot of like his point was that like he was a priest, and like the one of the bigger problems, well, I mean, for like Catholics back in the day, was that the Bible had yet to be transcribed. Well, there were a couple problems. One, either the Bible wasn't transcribed into a language like for local people, like it was still in like Latin or Greek. And then secondly, even if it was translated into like a local language, like most of the population was illiterate. So they basically, why the Catholic Church was able to get away with so much stuff was that the people were in a position where they had to rely on like their priests to like they believed whatever he said because like, oh, well, he's read the Bible sort of thing. It was like a blind faith sort of because like they couldn't read it for themselves. So like that was kind of Martin Luther's thing, is like he went and read it for himself and then was like, looked at what the Catholic Church was doing and was like, I don't know that what you guys are doing is right. And then that was like where he got his 95 Theses from. It's kind of like the premise of it. October 31st, 1803, Congress ratifies the Louisiana Purchase. Thank you, Napoleon Bonaparte, for granting us...
That Capital One commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, we got it! Louisiana Purchase confirmed!
Yeah. That was pretty good. Like 14 million or 15 million, something like that, right?
A good price. I think it was it 50 million for Alaska or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't remember.
Good purchase.
So that like at the time doubled the size of the United States approximately,
and then
which was a pretty big deal. And it was also at the time controversial because like Jefferson didn't know if he even had like constitutional authority to like complete the purchase, because like it's like completely unprecedented. Like you know, Madison when he wrote it or whatever would have never thought like, what can the president buy up land in the name of the United States? Like I guess they didn't really see that coming.
I mean, if he wasn't allowed to, or let's say like he was stopped, I would have been comfortable with that happening. But then I think Congress would have probably been able to approve that, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So I think Congress would have been like, oh, it's kind of smart. I think maybe we were in debt at the time.
Oh yeah,
probably.
I'm sure we were, because like we had to still probably pay off like the Dutch and the Spanish and like a bunch of people. Yeah. October 31st, 1864, the state of Nevada becomes the 36th state in the Union. It's kind of weird to me. Well, I mean, a little bit weird to me how we like made it to basically like the Mississippi, and then all of a sudden jumped to California, and then like the states kind of like filled in the middle instead of like it moving east to west sort of thing.
Well, I could tell you a lot of reasons probably why that happened.
Anyway.
Nevada, home of where a lot of nuclear bombs fell or were tested.
And silver. It is a silver state.
Cool.
In case you didn't know.
Also home of half of the Hoover Dam.
This is also true. Yeah. And our last item on our list, October 31st, 1941, was the completion of Mount Rushmore in South Dakota.
Yes.
The Black Hills?
Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
I don't know how long it took them either. What year was it?
It was completed in 1941.
Oh, okay. Wow. Oh, I thought it would have been like a little bit earlier than that, but
I'm sure it was started like 15 years earlier.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, I thought it would have ended like they would have.
Could you imagine like taking a chisel and a hammer and like?
Oh yeah. It's a lot
how
of work.
long that would take?
It'd take a long ass time.
What if you messed up?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I chipped a part of his nose off that
like,
shouldn't have been chipped off.
Who got some
like,
dynamite?
Just like making go to another mountain.
Yeah.
Make another mountain.
Well, they probably had professionals and whatnot that did that. I wonder how like it's corroded over the years. Honestly.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
How they do they even like? I'm pretty sure they maintain it, but
I don't know how they would. Like send someone up there and like re-chisel it or something.
I guess, yeah.
They probably don't. I don't think it like erodes that quickly.
I guess. Yeah, there's probably not a lot of erosion up there either.
Well, I mean, like anytime it rains or snows.
Yeah, but it's also North Dakota, so.
It's South Dakota.
Or South Dakota, whatever, same thing.
Basically, yeah.
Why don't you just call them Dakota?
I'm sure there's some like, if you ask a North Dakota and a South Dakota person, they'll be like, those North Dakota people. I'm sure
I
there's
get
some
that.
like good reason.
Well, I
for it
get
being
like
split.
okay, they both have two senators.
Why are there
apiece,
two
but
Carolinas?
That's a good point.
Why are there two Virginias? Well, the Virginia thing was like also like
That was like a Civil War thing.
a little bit.
It was like, we don't
Yeah.
want to be associated. We don't want to be with those guys. Virginia used to be like really big. Now it's just like, it lost the tip of a PP.
Yeah, it did. All right, that is
All
it.
right.
That's all I got.
That is all for the history this week. But before we get into the last topic, which is gonna be kind of interesting, go ahead and let us know if we missed anything. Go ahead and let us know any other facts that we should have brought up. Also, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't come with anything else. But yeah, let us know in the comments down below. Are you ready for this last topic?
Si, senor.
Because I don't know how this is going to go out, because I don't know if you're going to agree. Oh, wow. 2-2.
The Dodgers.
So this last topic was something I saw on Facebook. What I thought, like, oh, this would be good to talk about. I think it would be interesting. I don't think it's getting a lot of light also, or it's not
true.
It's not getting
I
a lot of,
didn't hear anything about it until you sent this to me.
yeah, and I thought, like, whoa, we should talk about this. It's something interesting because there's a lot of good arguments that are being made. But what we're going to talk about is, what was the title of the thing that you wrote? What's it called? You wrote it. No, the title of this. What is this? Music? What did you write?
I put music isn't, I don't even remember.
I can't even read this.
Dust.
What does that say?
Music isn't protected for individual chord progression. These were just like notes of like points I was going to make.
Okay. Read that again.
Music is not protected for individual chord progression.
Okay, but into the mic.
Music is not protected for individual chord progression.
Okay, so
I don't know what that has to do with what you're going for, but there you
what
go.
I'm going for is that's probably where we're going to get to. But it's been a recent development in the dances in Fortnite and the origin of those dances. The creators of those dances have come out and then also been supported by other big artists and are wanting to be compensated for what Fortnite has done and has done a pretty good job with. They're called emotes in Fortnite, for context. They are things that you do, I don't know, for fun, to make the game fun, I guess.
Yeah.
So what you do, you do that and you do a dance, and Fortnite has done this with other popular dances. One thing to note is that most of the popular dances I think they've taken them from have changed the name of the dances. And I'm not sure when that tweet was or when they started to kind of come out with this, but basically a lot of people are getting mad in this certain community. I think they label themselves the hip hop community, that it's black appropriation to this, and then also that they're not getting paid for these kind of dances, I guess, or creative movements. I don't know what you would want to call them. What I thought was interesting about this and like their arguments, and some of it makes sense. Some of it I'm like, I have a little bit of empathy for it, because there's no clear line on these type of dances, because these are kind of different from what the video said about how choreography is protected, but it has to be like a certain amount of like,
has to be like a series of motions.
Yeah, a series of motions where you're taking steps, basically. And the Millie Rock, which really isn't a step dance at all. I mean, you can step with it. I don't know. Do you know what a Millie Rock is, right?
Nope.
Okay, well, it's
not by name anyway.
But yeah, but you saw the dance, like it was the Swift one. Well, I think
okay.
That's what they called them. That's what Millie Rock. And then the other one was the Jump Man, I think it was what it was called. And it was one where everyone's kind of
jumping on one leg.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And how they kind of don't. They have. I mean, that one has a little bit more. That actually has steps technically, but it's not really. I don't. Maybe because of the way the choreography thing works, you have to use like both legs or something like that, probably. But it's like not defined for those kind of dances that are kind of, in my eyes, they're kind of like meme dances, honestly, and that's like what we're like looking at. And like there's like other dances like what was the other one? The whip and nene are similar as well. The Snoop Dogg one, the like windshield wiper one.
Yeah.
In like one of his iconic videos that he did with Pharrell, like those don't really have moves either, or footsteps.
Hotline Bling, I'd say, is another one.
Yeah, Hotline Bling is another one where he kind of steps, but I'm pretty sure Drake.
That and the like.
Yeah, and then Drake probably did something to protect that. I'm not sure if he's going to compensate it, but a good argument that they made is, hey guys, we created these dances, there's no, you guys are changing the name, obviously, which is, kind of makes sense to do that. I think it's to protect the company, but they made the argument, but you kind of had a counterpoint to it. But okay, if you're gonna put our dance in there, call it that, and then also put our music in there. But then you made the counterpart like, well, you can't really play some of that music for rated E. Right. For a rated E game because some of the profanity obviously used, and it makes sense to not have that. They would have to basically bleep out some words. You said like probably like there's some songs where you probably have to bleep out 5 words, which makes sense. So like, okay, you can't really have that counter argument from their side. And I don't know how you would compensate for them. Because like when you think about it, when you do something like this, where you have to like kind of copyright it, if there was like some kind of law for that, it would kind of be how like they did to like the Happy Birthday song, and how in businesses where like, oh hey, it's my buddy's birthday, and they bring him a cake or a piece of cake, they can't even sing Happy Birthday. And like that's like what I'm thinking. Like, okay, well we're taking all the fun out of that stuff. And I also think of like all the YouTubers and all the like the Viners that were basically making money off of this too, on how they weren't really being accused like this. Because what we really have to look at it, obviously looking at it like someone from like the hip hop perspective, looking at it like this, like, whoa, dude, they're stealing our stuff. Like, why is this happening? But what they really don't know is like this stuff has been happening for a lot longer, like the emote stuff. And some of the dances have been basically taken. Mm-hmm. I'm not too sure what the first game I saw emotes in that you can do.
I would say long before Fortnite was the first Destiny.
I want to say even like probably maybe like a decade ago. There's probably a game in there that but I'm not thinking of. I know the Call of Duty games definitely had that kind of stuff. FIFA has had the celebration. So when in FIFA you score a goal, there's certain celebrations you can like basically hit, and then you basically do that celebration. But are you gonna check see if they get paid for that?
I just thought of like a better way of. I was gonna look up something about Michael Jackson again.
Okay. Also, he looked up something about Michael Jackson. But basically, they've done that in FIFA too, where they actually changed the name of some of the celebrations.
I did look up earlier the FIFA thing. I couldn't find anything that said that they paid Griezmann for his like
thing or anything like that. But it's also exclusive to him. Yeah, it's like weird. Because I don't know if it is, because like when you look at it, when the dude was in the Drake song, he's kind of getting exposure in a way. You know what I mean? He's getting that popularity. He's not getting obviously the whole, piece of the pie, but he's getting that spotlight. And obviously through both of those guys, like the Millie Rock was popularized through Rihanna, like the video said, and then the Jumpman was popularized through Drake's video, like they said. So do they want compensate? Like if they want something for compensated, I think they need it from everyone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
How do you like you can't just go through like one avenue of these video game stuff that have been doing it for years already, and they've been doing emotes, and there's been stuff like similar stuff like this that's been going on. You can't just go through like to do that for this one thing. You have to do it for like everything then.
I agree with you. I think that this has become a thing in part purely only because of the success that Fortnite has seen.
Exactly.
Because I guarantee you there are other things that have like probably even some of those same dances in them that like aren't being targeted.
Like FIFA had Gundam Style, but they didn't call it Gundam Style in the game.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah. I was also thinking of like I mentioned, Destiny like had emos. They had like the Thriller dance, which is like a very obvious like thing. And I'm sure they have many other like dance moves. I think they had Hotline Bling in there too, like the Drake thing. So like I wrote some notes here, just like kind of talking points that I thought of as we were like watching that video and like while you've been talking as well. So like the last thing that I wrote down actually was that the fact that Epic Games like changed the names, especially if they were like known names to the dances, like that to me at least implies that they're protecting themselves against this very thing, that like they know that it probably is a gray area, and so like that's how they're protecting themselves, is by changing the name, because like as the video states, there's no specific copyright laws for like individual moves. It has to be like a sequence of moves. So what I would want to see first is like if any of these people that are complaining even tried to file copyright on their dance moves, and they would also have to be able to prove that like they're the originator of it, which in some cases will be probably pretty easy, but in other cases might be kind of difficult. And then like other things that I have written down here are that like music is not protected for individual chord progression. So like you can get hit with copyright if it's like if there are like large chunks that appear to be taken from like another song. I think Ed Sheeran not too long ago had like a big controversy of like him pulling one of his like sampling too much of like one
song.
I think he actually lost that lawsuit too. He had to pay someone like a couple $1 million or whatever. Yeah. So like and then similarly in like written text plagiarism, you can't go after someone with plagiarism for your single words. Like it has to again be like large chunks. Although there is a little bit bigger of a gray area in like written word where it's like you can get hit with a plagiarism accusation for like you're not even using the identical words, but like the thought and like the idea. You can like basically you're plagiarizing an idea, if that makes sense. So like you could write a paragraph on like Fortnite and like I could change all the words, but it conveys the exact same point, and like you could come after me for plagiarism.
Yeah.
So like there's both of those things to take into account, is like other types of expression are not protected in this small of an instance, as like the video said. So like a single instance of like this dance is like not like, I would say the Thriller dance is a bigger example of like a series of moves that's like very obvious. Like it's not just like the arms like up in the air, like it is a whole thing with like the clap and like the head shake thing and all that. So do you get where I'm going? Do you have like kind of like a confused look on your face?
No. I'm processing everything in my head because you're saying everything kind of fast, but you're good.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So I did look up. I tried to find if FIFA pays like players or pays anyone for like the celebration things. I couldn't find that. And then I tried to look up if Michael Jackson's estate earns any money for like the moonwalk or the Thriller dance, and I couldn't find anything that says that they did.
So like it's not
for
looking
that.
good.
So yeah, so it's not looking good in that thing. And like I said before, I want like they would have to prove that like they originated it, which in some cases will be difficult. And then like they have to get over the hurdle of it being like just a single move. But another thing that they would have to prove, see what happens in copyright things like this is that someone is making money off of something, and then someone else uses it in a way that helps them make money. So like why, like FIFA, to go back to FIFA, like all the EA sports games have a soundtrack, and all of those artists are paid to put their songs in the game, and it's because the game, like you adding in that music makes the game have a higher entertainment value. Like EA is actually profiting a little bit off of the fact that the music is in the game, so they therefore have to compensate the artists, because which they do, right? Because like they are making money off of something that someone else created. And I understand, so I have like players make money, so like sports players make money on their image and their likeness, so like players in FIFA, or like, you know, the cover star on Madden, like whoever it is this year, I don't know, Antonio Brown or something like that. So like he got paid to be the cover star for Madden. Musicians make money on lyrics or musical composition things. So like they are profiting off of what they made. I don't know that any of and also like artists make money on like their paintings and images and stills and stuff like that. I don't know that any of these people would ever be able to prove that they're making money on that dance. they're making money on the song for sure, but and the majority of their money is going to come from like nothing to do with the video.
Yeah.
It's going to come from like Spotify and streaming services and people buying the albums and stuff like that. So like I think they would, where it's a sticking point for me is like they're not going to be able to prove that they're making money, therefore they're not going to be able to copyright it because it's not proprietary. Like they're not making money off of it. And therefore like legally anyway, Epic Games is not in the wrong. I do have, like, all of that being said, it's a great, now that I've been made aware of it, and like, cause like I had no idea that like, that those dances, like I don't listen to any of that sort of music, or like I had never seen any of those music videos before.
Well, if you hang out with Rodeo when he gets a little tipsy, Millie Rock will come out.
So like, I honestly had zero idea that like those were just straight pulled from like things like that. I honestly didn't know.
Yeah.
So like, while legally I don't think Epic Games is in the wrong, like by the letter of the law, it feels slightly unethical, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like in all appearances, like they did just pull this from the thing. Now, like I don't, as I've stated, like I don't think that these artists have any way of like fighting that. And you talked about like them like, oh, we'll like add in the songs. And like we talk like why that's not going to work.
Not going to work.
At least probably in most cases.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's like, it honestly, it could go either way, and I'd be like, okay.
Well, another thing too is when you think about it, it's like a saying like, "Oh, what's up?" Like back in the night, like I think it was late 90s, like "What's up?" Like the guy that invented that, like he's not going to get compensated for that probably. And like when you look at what the video already showed was a kid recognizing Snoop Dogg's dance as a Fortnite dance, and you're starting to see the departure of what those dances like originally were, and to see, like you said, like if you can't even prove that you're even selling it, like I don't even know how you sell a dance. That's what I'm saying. It's like a weird thing to sell.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the dance be popularized through a video game, but it's also I think the video said like, oh, it was making the game more popular. I don't think it makes the game more popular. I think it, like, you didn't even know that it was like.
No, I understand that, but see, I didn't know the origins of those dances, but like I came to know those dances because of the game, and I like.
But do you think? I don't, because you can't even look that up because to see how much more popular the game is through that.
Yeah, it would be like, it's impossible to quantify like 100%, but. I think that, you know, like we go to Angel Stadium and we see like kids doing the floss on like I guarantee you there's like some other kid. I know it's kind of like Fortnite is so big now that like everyone knows about it, but like I guarantee you at some point there was like another kid in Angel Stadium watching the big screen and seeing that kid do the floss, and he was like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
And then like he finds out that it's from Fortnite, and then like maybe he gets into Fortnite.
Yeah.
Like I would say that that's possible, that like it is spreading the brand a little bit. Just because of like how big it's become.
Yeah.
And like there are whole like YouTube videos and everything. Like there are people that are directly profiting off of just like making a video of them doing the Fortnite dance moves. Like that sort of thing. So like if they could ever prove that like they were making money or like they originated these dances, like legally set a precedent for that, then like I would have no problem with them like being compensated.
Yeah, and there's also like different type of ways of Millie rocking too, so it's like it's a little weird because the way I'm not sure the variations of the way he does it, but you see, because people do it kind of differently because they have weird kind of rhythm. They're not all the same, so it's kind of a dance that kind of like it's unique to a person. So
like individual, like stylistic.
Yeah, so it's that's even more of a great. It's like, whoa, like you're just going. I think the Millie Rock guy, that's like an overstretch. The jump one's a little bit more or less kind of. I've never seen anything like that, but
yeah, because it's
like
definitely unique.
Because the only thing I could think about the Millie Rock is there's another dance back in the day, or not back in the day, but like 10 years ago. They go teach me how to Dougie, and it kind of had like it had the same kind of arm motion, but it kind of came up over your head. And that was like when I saw the Millie Rock, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, it's like kind of like a really short Dougie, I guess, that doesn't go up, and you're just like waving it right here. Yeah. That's what I thought. like in my head when I first saw it. So you can't make cases. I feel for the Millie Rock guy. I'm sorry, but I think it's kind of like a lost cause. You just got to run with it. Like, hey, if anything, make a deal with Fortnite to say, hey, can you put my name on there? If not, then yeah, he's basically. I think he's screwed.
See, but like the moment that they put his name on it, now they have to compensate him because like it's his name.
But I mean, if Fortnite,
which is why they're not going to do it. I'm not saying like they should or shouldn't.
But
like,
I mean, like Fortnite's made so much money, I think they would be like, hey, you want $1 million?
Has capitalism taught you nothing?
I know, but would you like? Let's just say that the Millie Rock guy, would he take $1 million just to put his name on the damn dance?
I don't know, probably.
I mean, what would be your
number? Would Epic Games do it?
But what's your number though?
Probably less than that, to be honest.
Okay, so I'm saying like
I know,
if they throw like a bone at him, then yeah. But I don't think they're gonna.
Another one that I thought of too while we were talking about this is the Bernie.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's like another one that was.
But that's from a movie that someone made into a dance. So it's like, well, it's the movie for the guys.
Yeah.
No, I mean in Thriller. I mean, there's dances that have more kind of.
What if they did this to like planking?
I don't know.
It's like an endless gray area. You could constantly come up with things that was like pop culture fads that like originated with something somewhere.
But I just don't want it to
went viral on Vine and now everyone does it. Sort of.
Yeah, I just don't want it to get it. I understand like you created this, but I don't want it to get it to the point where someone does it like they did the birthday song, and where
I understand.
You can't do that stuff.
Like I said, the biggest sticking point for me is that like they would have to prove that they are profiting on that dance by itself.
Yeah. Which
I don't think any of them would be able to do.
Yeah. I mean, they made them pop. Like, I didn't know who any of those guys were. Like, the actual guy that made the songs, I didn't know, like, where they were from or the area. I just know that they've been referenced, like, they showed in the song about the songs. But other than that, I didn't even know who created it, so. It kind of sucks for them, but they probably should have capitalized on it to, I don't know. If anything, if another artist creates a dance or thinking about creating a dance, maybe this should go straight to Epic's Games. Like, hey guys, I got this cool dance for you guys. I'm gonna make it real popular. But like, you can't even do that either.
Cause Epic Games wouldn't use it. They'd have to pay you.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know. It's just a weird topic because we talked about like the legal part really and like what they can't do, but people are still gonna be like, nope, they should get paid. They should get paid. It's like, well, that's not how it works. It's just like, there's more people complaining. The only real thing, or actually the only real reason I mean, I'm not gonna get racist right now. I don't think. Hopefully not, or I don't think I'm gonna offend people. If you're offended, that's kind of on you. But when they said, like, this is another thing that goes back to what I said in the last podcast about Columbus and how like I'm American. Like when I look at like, I mean, maybe some black people don't look at them as Americans. They're like, oh, I'm African American. I'm like, I look as another, like, dude, I think you're American, man. It's these labels that are separating everyone that I don't like. And I wish that we can, that's the thing I want to do is get away from labeling a thing like, oh, that's an Asian thing. Oh, that's a black thing. Even though I mean, privately I'll joke about that in my head or something like that. But like, I don't really mean it. It's just a stupid thing to say, but I don't say it out loud. I mean, sometimes I do, but I'm not doing it to offend anyone.
But it's in the context where everyone knows that it's a joke.
Yeah, but also it's just, I wish we could move away from that, and that's an American thing. Like jazz, that's an American thing. That's, I mean, yeah, it originated in like Harlem and those areas, but that's an American thing. That's America right there. It's a positive. And I get like how African American communities have been credited for stuff, but like I said, I look at them as Americans. I don't look at them as African Americans. That's just me. I'm a nice person. I think, right? I mean, was that racist? Did I say anything racist?
I don't think so.
I don't think. Okay. Well, that's it.
It is. 'Tis.
That has been it, ladies and gentlemen. But let us know in the comments down below. Do you think the artists deserve to be paid for these kind of dances? If not, Or if they do, let us know. Like, let's hear what you have to say. We want to hear some good arguments, not just saying, oh, they deserve it because they created it. Give us some stuff on paper. We try to look up, like I said, the FIFA stuff, Michael Jackson. There really isn't anything besides choreography stuff that's really protected but in this kind of realm. But there is anything like that, let us know in the comments down below. Create a case. Let's talk about it. And then maybe in another episode, we can go back to a comment or something like that. But yeah, that has been it, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Jacob and Me podcast show. I'm the host, Richard Rodillo, joined by the man with the noggin, Jacob Bullard. If you haven't already, go ahead and please subscribe to the College Avenue channel. Go ahead and like the video, please. Share this with all your invisible friends. Also know that we do an audio version, which comes out first on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Google Play. Just go ahead and subscribe there or follow us, and you will get notified that we release something new. And that's been it, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and check out Jacob. You're going to do some Road to Glory stuff. And then I'm doing the inner weird podcast thing with music artists from our area. And hopefully we can do some more cool stuff and grow and do fun stuff. I guess. I don't know. Yeah. That's been it, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Richard Rodillo, like I said. Jacob Bullard. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Deuces, my gooses.